It's a little rainy today, a little cool for a spring, almost summer day. A little unusual for the month of May, but here we are. So, anyway, very excited today to talk to you guys about Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and dementia. These are diseases that touch many of us, and certainly have touched people that we love, and all of us, I'm sure, are concerned about these diseases touching people we love. So, super important to have this discussion and to kind of walk you guys through what I want to present to you today. Should be some good stuff. We'll see. You guys will be the judge of that. But I'll walk you through this. And again, I want to always start these discussions with, you work in a little bit different way than you've been taught. These diseases that we think are, sort of individual standalone diseases, generally can all be tied back to some kind of a bacterial, fungal, or viral infection, as strange as that may sound. And again, there's things that we can do to protect ourselves, from that type of activity. We can boost our immune system in a lot of different ways, which we'll sort of talk about, but you can go back and look at previous chip talks for some ways. We'll be talking about a lot of other ways, but there's, lots of ways, let's say, that you can defend yourself. Most of the ways that we have to defend ourselves from, these viruses, bacteria, bugs, funguses, whatever you want to call them, I'll just call them bacteria, but most of the ways that we have to defend ourselves from these bacteria, we don't even understand. I mean, we leave ourselves completely defenseless all the time. It would be like, walking into war and being ignorant of a firearm, okay? So if you walk into the battlefield and you're ignorant of how a firearm works or even your need for one, you're going to have people shooting at you everywhere and you're probably going to get shot. Well, if you walk into this world that's full of pathogens and bacteria and viruses and funguses, ignorant, you're going to get shot. Okay? So anyway, we'll talk that through here. So, boop. We'll start right in on, and again, I'm kind of going to use this browser format, over the PowerPoint format. We'll see how that goes and see what you guys think of that. If you don't like that, obviously tell me that. If you like this better, then let me know that as well. But it gives me a little bit more flexibility if I need to go dig for something, as I'm sort of thinking through these thoughts, I can do this. But first of all, so Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and dementia. Well, we know they all kind of have to do with the brain. We know they all have to kind of do with aging. Some people get Alzheimer's earlier than you think. Some people get dementia earlier than you think. Well, what are they all, right? So let's just, this first thing here is pretty good. So Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease are progressive brain diseases caused by gradual damage to brain cells. How does that happen? Every cell inside of you always wants to be perfect. Why are all these cells all of a sudden in your brain becoming traumatized? Did someone hit you in the head? It doesn't talk about that. Is somebody, pouring hydrochloric acid in our brain? I mean, how does this damage happen? By gradual damage to brain cells. You're not built to damage yourself. You really aren't, okay? Each of these conditions has its own set of symptoms, stages, and treatments. Dementia is always seen in Alzheimer's disease. Parkinson's disease is a movement disorder that can lead to dementia. So dementia is going to be, let's say, more the loss of memory, loss of mental faculties. So dementia is sort of a result of Alzheimer's and can be a result of Parkinson's, okay? Parkinson's and Alzheimer's are a little bit different, and we'll talk those through. Okay, so what is, in Parkinson's, what is if you look at like how a disease works or how these things work, let's say in medical literature, you need to use the words mechanism of action. If you go, look at bacteria and things, we'll look at that in a second. I'll kind of show you what to look for. But Mechanism of action is a way that chemists and pharmacological pharmacists describe how things work. And so it's more in line with, let's say, your neurology or the effects that, things have on your body. So Parkinson's, what affects, what's going on with Parkinson's? What is its mechanism of action? Well, these words are always interesting, but as the substantia nigra, and those are, I think, nerve things in your brain, degenerates in Parkinson's disease, the nigrostriatal pathway is disrupted, reducing striatal dopamine and producing Parkinson's disease symptoms. Reducing striatal dopamine. Gosh, that's interesting, right? So if Parkinson's is just a reduction of dopamine in the brain, well, there's ways to fix that, boys and girls. There's ways to kick up the amount of dopamine in your brain. And actually, and this is the nice thing about doing this on this little graphic over here. So see levodopa here. There's a herb. It's called Mucana purins. That is a source of L-dopa, and L-dopa is all levodopa is. But you can use that herb, and it works very well to supplement if you have Parkinson's, or if you just want to kind of kick up the amount of dopamine in your brain. So isn't that cool? Okay. Did I have anything else I want to study here? I don't think so. All right. So again, it's always interesting to me to look at, could these disease states be caused by bacteria? And is there research to show that perhaps they are? Well, look, study uncovers a strong link between gut bacteria and development of Parkinson's disease. Again, why is this important? Well, it explains some things. You're all of a sudden the cells in your brains just don't decide to go crazy and, I think I'll develop Parkinson's today and stop making dopamine. You don't work that way. A cell will do its work. A cell will perform the way that it should. And if it doesn't, it'll divide and form a new self, right? That will. So cells work the way that they should until something happens, until a trauma or until something invades them, infects them, and changes their metabolism. Study uncovers a strong link between gut bacteria and development of Parkinson's disease. Okay, all right. Well, what type of bacteria? That's always interesting. So, here we go. So interestingly, researchers also identified a cluster of bacteria, E. coli, or Klebsiella pneumonia, and Klebsiella quasi-pneumonia, which are also known to cause infection, were elevated in those with Parkinson's. The other thing that they found here, which is interesting, is an in-depth analysis of their stool samples showed that bacteria, genes, and biological pathways differ by more than 30% in those with Parkinson's compared to those who do not have the disease. So that's a pretty strong correlation with the disease, 30%. And then it says, for example, the bacterial species Bifidobacteria dentium, which is known to cause anaerobic infections such as brain abscesses, were found to be elevated 7-fold in those with Parkinson's, and 7.5-fold reduction in the bacteria such as Roseburo intestinalis, which is known to be an inhabitant of healthy colonies. So again, some of these bacteria can help us, some of these bacteria hurt us, but again, in Parkinson's, we're seeing a 30% delta between people that have it and people that don't. That's pretty significant, very significant, and that's very indicative of what I see, and what I see almost every day with people I talk to, people I'm looking at with diagnostic equipment, that bacteria, funguses, viruses, I call them all bacteria, are at the core of a lot of these diseases. Not all disease, but a lot. Most, I think we can even say. So do we establish that to your satisfaction with Parkinson's? If we need to go deeper, we can't. Here, I'm sure we can just back this up and we'll see. Here we go. Do Sylviobria bacteria are associated with Parkinson's? You know, there's a lot of, when I sort of do a Google search and I look for stuff, if there's a lot of medical and journal articles, if there's a lot of research like NIH, like this one's a NIH study, if Nature, you know, is writing about it, then we're usually, you know, onto something here. And so, you know, this is well researched and well studied is what I'm telling you. So anyway, alrighty, in Alzheimer's disease. So what is Alzheimer's disease? Again, what is the mechanism of action of Alzheimer's disease? So in Alzheimer's disease, as neurons are injured and die throughout the brain, connections between networks of neurons may break down and many brain regions begin to shrink. So basically let's say the synaptic, you know, plasticity between your neurons begins to shut down and you don't have as many neurons firing, I guess is the best way to look at it. By the final stages of Alzheimer's, this process called brain atrophy is widespread, causing significant loss of brain volume. So literally your brain just kind of starts to die in Alzheimer's. And you lose this plasticity between neurons. Okay, let's see if we want to cover anything else. Alzheimer's disease is thought to be caused by the abnormal buildup of proteins in and around brain cells. Guess what causes that? Bacteria. So, Alzheimer's and bacteria. Scientists have found that this species of bacteria, called whatever that first word is, gingivitis, can move from the mouth to the brain. Once in the brain, the bacteria release enzymes called gingiopains that can destroy nerve cells, which in turn can lead to memory loss and eventually to Alzheimer's. I get excited, I stutter, so I got to slow down. What bacteria causes Alzheimer's? So here's another one, Spirochetes bacteria. You know, again, look at the information though that's here, and a lot of it is periodontal. They're now really linking Alzheimer's to gum disease and periodontal disease. And doesn't that make sense? Because as we age, our teeth get worse. Usually our, you know, mouth status gets worse, and those two things appear to be related, closely related. The other thing that's related is infections. Again, it just, you know, when you run a fever, it's sort of hard on you. Okay, so study links viral infections to Alzheimer's, Parkinson's with many caveats. So this is a well-respected journal, Science. Again, pretty good article here linking Alzheimer's and Parkinson's to viral infections, all right? So again, what's a viral infection caused by? A virus. You know, what are bacterial infections caused by? Bacteria. What are fungal infections caused by? Funguses. So it's pretty obvious that both Alzheimer's and Parkinson's are, the underlying causes are bugs, let's just say. Okay, so what can we do about this? Like if you've got a family member who has Parkinson's or Alzheimer's, can we use the same protocols that, let's say, Chip generally preaches? Can we use the idea of intermittent fasting? Can we use the idea of eating the right things, meaning fats, aminos, vitamins, you know, trace minerals, fibers? And can we use the idea of supplementation, you know, for sort of point work and very severe stuff to address Parkinson's and Alzheimer's? What? That sounds too easy, doesn't it? I mean, it just, gosh, you know, can I just a simple, you know, behavior change of intermittent fasting and a simple diet change of, let's say, eating the right amino acids, can those change my grandmother or mother's or wife's or my Parkinson's and Alzheimer's status? Yeah, they can, okay? Again, when you do a Google search and you start pulling up with all kinds of NIH studies and, you know, medical studies and sort of government articles and, medical journal articles, that means that, there's a lot there, right? So you're probably, looking at something that's pretty valid. And guess what? When you look at intermittent fasting and Parkinson's, you come up with a lot of information. You come up with studies, which is nice, again, to improve adherence. Fasting maybe from 16 to 18 years, but the role of intermittent fasting in Parkinson's. So there's a study here by NIH. This is an article by a medical system. So Parkinson's disease is in animal models of Parkinson's disease. Intermittent fasting has been shown to protect neurons from degeneration and improve motor function. Wow. Okay. Well, I think I want to know about that, don't I? It'd be good if my doc told me about that, wouldn't it? How can I slow Parkinson's disease naturally? Healthy eating and regular exercise. Again, exercise always helps all of this. I just really don't talk about it that much because it's more important, honestly, you can get there with just exercise, but it's, some people will never exercise, but they can't always change their diet or fasting. Efficacy of fasting and other dietary adjustments. Keto diet for Parkinson's patients can increase ketones 4-fold, whereas fasting has been shown to increase ketones by up to 20-fold. So again, are those good for Parkinson's, ketones? Well, let's see. Let's see if ketones are good for Parkinson's. Among Parkinson's patients, the presence of ketone bodies can reduce muscle tremor and stiffness as well as improve cognitive function. Pretty dang important, right? Okay. Alrighty, moving right along. What about amino acids? So if you've got Parkinson's, are amino acids deficiencies related to Parkinson's disease? Parkinson's disease is associated with a depletion of tyrosine hydroxylase, dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine. Exacerbating this is the fact that the administration of L-DOPA may deplete tyrosine, tryptophan, 5-hydroxytryptophan, serotonin, and sulfur amino acids. Okay, so if I give you, remember a couple of pages back, I said if you do have Parkinson's and you take levodopa or you take L-DOPA, then the taking of that L-DOPA may cause you to be depleted of some other additional amino acids that appear to be important with Parkinson's disease. But point of this is clearly there's some deficiency in amino acids with Parkinson's disease. Again, because it's a bacterial infection, they eat amino acids. So we need to be aware of this, and we need to supplement with amino acids into Parkinson's disease, okay? Can aminos help with Parkinson's? Branched chain amino acids could promote the catabolism of glutamate, which may exert beneficial effects on Parkinson's. And it just, I don't know what I'm going to pull up when I click on these buttons. So, what amino acids affect dopamine? So I'm just assuming that I'm going to be right because it's, everything is pointing here. So the aromatic amino acids, tryptophan, tyrosine, phenylalanine, are the biosynthetic precursors of neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine, which are going to help with Parkinson's, okay? You guys get the idea. What about omega-3? Look at this. So again, I'm going to preach to you guys about diet. When we look at diet, first of all, intermittent fast. Second of all, be intentional about what you eat, but in particular, dietary fats and amino acids. So I didn't really go to the omega-3 place, but let's just look at this because I already kind of know what I'm going to find. It's safe. Yeah, omega-3 fatty acids and neurodegenerative diseases. And again, it's not just Parkinson's, it's kind of all of them. Is omega-3 good for Parkinson's? Omega-3 fatty acids are strongly implicated in the prevention of cellular degeneration and death, with their benefits going well beyond Parkinson's prevention. So, not just good for Parkinson's. Again, we'll check them out for Alzheimer's in a second. We'll do that right now. So again, with Alzheimer's, so we just kind of looked at Parkinson's. Let's look at Alzheimer's. Does intermittent fasting help with Alzheimer's? Well, furthermore, vascular dysfunction plays a crucial role in Alzheimer's disease pathology, and intermittent fasting promotes vascular health. These observations lead to a hypothesis that intermittent fasting over the years will potentially reverse. Well, that'd be nice. Can I reverse my mom's Alzheimer's disease? My mom doesn't have Alzheimer's, but can I reverse her disease? Yeah, intermittent fast. or delay the pathological process in Alzheimer's disease. So again, if I can reverse it or delay it, well, that's pretty beneficial. It's better than frickin' Aricept is doing right now, isn't it? Okay, and again, there's no magic here. I'm not like pulling up these results, by magic. I just literally intermittent fasting Alzheimer's disease. That's my Google search. Not even on DuckDuckGo. Okay, and look at look at all this cheddar, all this data that is not sort of Joe's blog and Pete says and Betty Sue thinks that this would be really good for you. No, this is National Institute of Health. This is Nature. This is, University of Melbourne. This is University of Wisconsin-Madison, Australia, government resources. So, yeah. Yes, intermittent fasting will help with Alzheimer's. Okay, are there amino acid deficiencies associated with Alzheimer's? Yes, and it's this LP7, which again, if you've got somebody out there that you love with Alzheimer's, I'd get them on this LP7 right now. Or, we'll talk about what we do in a second. It's better to get what we do because I'm thinking about all this stuff when I build stuff. But their research suggests that this amino acid combination called amino LP7 can hinder the development of dementia, including Alzheimer's disease. Hinder the development of dementia, including Alzheimer's disease. Can amino acids help with Alzheimer's? Amino acids are known to be used as precursors of neurotransmitters in the brain. Amino acid mixtures as supplements may be used as a solution to Alzheimer's symptoms. Amino acid mixtures as a supplement may be used as a solution. Positive association between circulating branched-chain amino acids and Alzheimer's disease. Leucine, phenylalanine, and lysine, supplemented with isoleucine, histidine, valine, and tryptophan, herein referred to as the amino LP7. So there it is if you want to go make a product with the LP7 to help with Alzheimer's. There it is. Or just use our product. To LPD-fed mice improve cognitive function and behavioral stuff, right? So again, the intake of these improves cognitive function and behavior. Does anything slow Alzheimer's? Regular exercise. Well, exercise by up to 50%. That's pretty cool. So nothing on aminos there. But you guys can see lots of stuff on aminos, and you can satisfy yourself that it's all positive. It is. Okay, so are there other supplements? Is there supplements, that we can take that will help with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's? Yes. Turns out rosemary is a pretty powerful supplement. So lots of stuff here on rosemary and Parkinson's disease, essential oils, memory and brain function. Rosemary is one of the best oils to use for seniors with Parkinson's. What's the best herb for Parkinson's? I would disagree with ginkgo. Mucana is cowhage. I've never heard it called that. This is levodopa though. This is L-dopa. Mucana prurens is a source of levodopa or L-dopa. So anyway, but rosemary, good, and you can satisfy yourself to sort of pulled up the wrong thing. So without pre-recording, that's what you get. But you can see obviously here that rosemary has a lot of good action with Parkinson's. Aloe is another thing that I use quite a bit of. Does this work with Alzheimer's? So it turns out, aloe is good for cognitive function in Alzheimer's disease. Now, why do we use these supplements? Why do I use rosemary? I'll show you. Watch this. Rosemary bacteria. Okay, and again, just all you want here about why do I use aloe vera? Same reason. So no real magic. I'm just looking for stuff I'm looking for the most powerful things I can find in nature that will kill the bugs. So Aloe vera is the sap is good for certain reasons, and sort of the whole plant is good for certain reasons. So I just use the extracts, kind of both, in the stuff that we do. Great. The other thing that we use a lot of, I use something called A-lipoic acid. So A-lipoic acid, for whatever reason, the bugs don't like it at all. You know, again, why does it work? Because it's antibacterial, but people, not everyone's made that association, let's say, just yet. So A-lipoic acid can improve cognitive performance and could be considered as a preventative treatment for Alzheimer's disease by affecting multiple mechanisms such as acetylcholine, metal toxicity, impaired glucose uptake. And again, why does it do this? Because it has action, antibacterial, antifungal action, but it absolutely helps. And so again, it's something that I use quite a bit in these antiviral, antifungal things that I make. So if you have someone that has Alzheimer's or dementia, one of the things that I'd suggest, so this is our TrueMedix website, so it's just truemedix.com. This is our cleanse product, and the reason that I was pointing out these things, the rosemary and aloe and alpha lipoic, is because you can look right here: aloe vera, rosemary extract, alpha lipoic acid. So we put these things in our products that are, you know, that sort of would be what I would call my antibiotic or antibacterial product. So we put this stuff in there because we know that it works and it has strong action at the bugs. Well, guess what? Again, it is looking like Alzheimer's is a bug disease, all right? And guess what? The same stuff is going to work at the bugs. It's looking like Parkinson's is a bug disease. And guess what? The same stuff is going to work at the bugs. It's going to be better. Again, we're all in this one pill fixes all mentality. So if you just go buy this, is it going to help? Yes, it's going to help. Are you going to see a difference? Yeah, you're going to see a difference. But it's not going to help as much as if you do a protocol. If you do a protocol that considers intermittent fasting, because that's going to help, and you're going to see results with just that, okay? And then if you add sort of eating the right things like fats and amino acids, and by the way, we've got another product that I'll show you here called Essentials, but fats and amino acids, then you're going to tip the balance even more. And honestly, just eating the right fats and amino acids is going to make a difference. If you intermittent fast and eat the right fats and amino acids, that's going to make even more of a difference than the other two. And if you throw these products on top of it, that's going to make even more of a difference. So you can see kind of what's in our Essentials blend. This Sacha Inchi right here, whoop, that herb is a great source of dietary fats. Oh my gosh, is it balanced, nice. It's, you know, for a long time, chia seeds or chia seed oil, has been my go-to for omega-3s, but Sacha Inchi is my new guy. So anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed this one today. And if you have questions, obviously put them in the thread.